What if I told you there's a place so special, so unique, that 3 letters tell 1,000 words? A place that sets standards, but also sets trends. A place that develops icons who grow into legends. If you still need proof, just look at the past, and you'll see the future. It's Heisman's and Hondas. It's household names in the money game. It's going from billboards to draft boards. This place has the platform to transform. Welcome to Saturday nights and bright lights. Welcome to True Colors and magazine covers. Welcome to the winning teams and fulfilled dreams. Welcome to LSU. Welcome to your future. Welcome to the brand.
And we say happy Tuesday morning to you as we are coming to you live here with Tigers Roar, Buddy Sanji, as well as my co-host and producer, Jonathan Poche. Marty Campbell back behind the studio, making all of us look as good as that is possible with the camera work. Hope all of you, Shaq, talking about the LSU brand, will give you a ton of LSU updates here. Throw in a little Saints stuff at the end. But as always, just to get you updated, it has been a nice run for the Tiger athletic programs. Of course, baseball sitting at 16-1. They're back out at the box tonight against Xavier and start SEC play against Missouri this weekend, 6:30 Friday, 6 o'clock Saturday, and 1 o'clock on Sunday. Tigers opening up. And great opportunity to sweep Missouri as LSU, a combination of excellent hitting and pitching. We'll get into a little bit of that. We are going to get our first availability to see what LSU spring football looks like. That will be tomorrow morning. We'll also have a chance with other members of the media to talk to BK, Brian Kelly, see what he's got on his plate. Everybody, whether it be locally around the SEC or nationally, chomping at the bit to see what LSU is going to look like this spring, but more importantly, what they're going to look like on the night of August the 30th. Yes, I'm already calling it, JP. LSU and Clemson. You got to figure it's going to be a night game. That is August the 30th. As they will travel to Clemson's version of Death Valley. We'll get into that, but you know the importance of LSU winning that game and getting off the 5-game losing streak to open up. 3 of those on BK's watch, the other 2 with Coach O. Then you segue over into women's basketball. Lady Tigers running on empty a little bit. Flau'jae out of the tournament. Anissa Morrow once again re-injuring a little bone bruise in the foot, and so they are trying to be on the men. Selection Sunday for the ladies. That will be 7 o'clock. LSU is having a watch party out there along with the rest of the team and the coaching staff. All of you Tiger fans, get on out there, and it looks like the Tigers are going to come in as a number 3 national seed, host a couple games in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, and then probably be sent out west to Spokane, Washington for Sweet 16 and Elite competition. Softball has been fantastic. I continue to tell you that this looks like one of Beth Torina's best teams. Sydney Berzon is an All-American right-hander, but they finally did what we all wanted. Beth Torina brought in a highly touted lefty, and Jaden Heavener, or Heavener, however you want to call her. I've heard both ways. She's heaving it up to the plate. She's been fantastic. Once again, Lady Tigers ranked number 5. Men's baseball 1, 2, 2, and 2 in the respective polls. And, of course, men's basketball finishing the conference at 3 and 15. They will play in the opening round of the SEC men's basketball tournament. That will be Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. Saints with some of their hiring staff. Bo Davis leaving LSU to go coach with the Saints. Kellen Moore has done a fantastic job with getting a good staff in here. And, of course, we'll talk about the Saints a little bit. But, as always, hey, we've had a lot of stuff going on, folks, and with Mardi Gras and everything else, good to be back. And we welcome in Jonathan Poche, the glue, and the producer, and the man who keeps, along with Marty, Pelican Sports Radio and TV running smoothly. And JP, good to see you today.
Happy to be here, Bud, man. Of course, back here on Tigers Roar. Happy to have all of you out there tuning in. Of course, off a couple weeks. You mentioned it because of Mardi Gras. Everybody's dealing with some health, some flu, and everybody's got kiddos that are getting sick. So you can understand the hectic schedules, but happy to be back. Right in the midst of all kinds of stuff going on. You mentioned baseball. Starting right at the top. I mean, the one hole, Derek Curiel, the freshman, great at-bat appearances. He works his way on base almost half the time, setting up Jones and Dickerson, really having a great start to the season. Jones, had a team lead with 5 home runs, and Dickerson caught him. And, looking like professional hitters. And you mentioned the pitching. Outstanding out the bullpen and great starting pitching has this team. I think it's 11 in a row they've won now, Bud, man, to drop in that second game to Omaha. And, the women's on the softball side also doing fantastic. Looking forward to see Kim Mulkey and the women's basketball team compete in these early rounds of the tournament. Of course, you mentioned they're kind of running on empty. Definitely hit on empty against Texas. Down 2 of your big 3, and then you have Michaela Williams getting some foul trouble. So a lot going on. Of course, football starts back up this week. So a great time to be a Tiger fan. Of course, you saw in the intro the brand from LSU, a great tool they're going to provide all the student athletes. So podcast studios and video editing suites, and you name it, they're going to provide it for LSU. So one more great thing to provide for these student athletes. And great to see you, Bud, man. While I have a minute, though, got to give a shout-out to the boss man, Alan Traylor. For all yous out there that watch this show and you are people of faith, men and women of faith, I ask you to pray for the big man. Had another surgery on his back. He's going to be rehabbing for a couple more weeks. So hoping to get Alan back soon, and prayers for him and his beautiful wife, Debbie. Just give them strength, Lord, because we need them back.
Yeah, I'm a basket case anyway, but boy, I tell you what, to see what he has endured, and we constantly say, folks, when you need some help, all you have to do is utter, Jesus, I trust in you, and many times over, it will make it better. Let's dive into this baseball team, and you mentioned Derek Curiel. He is the leadoff hitter. Of course, Jared Jones has gotten hot, now leading the team. Tiger guys are hitting .333 as a team. Pitching staff is just over 3-point ERA at 3.02. JP also going to see if Gavin Guidry makes his first appearance. Most of you know he was scheduled to start at Nichols when it was going to be that really cold night.
Right.
They didn't play that game. They changed the dates and of course, had the makeup game. But Guidry woke up the next day with a little problem. I don't know if it's oblique or whatever. He's been throwing in the outfield a little bit, so might see his availability. But right now, Kate Anderson has been opening up the weekends. Anthony Iason's coming here from the portal, 15 strikeouts over the weekend. Then you get into Chase Shore, still coming back from the injury, still not 100% because he's got to, as we all know, this time of year, you've got to develop that stamina. And for the most part, the Tigers playing pretty well. Don't really know how good they are because the competition, and JP, I don't know if you've noticed this, but once again, it's hard not to be an SEC homer when you see Tennessee, when you see Arkansas, when you see all of those top-ranked teams. I think I saw something the other day in one of the polls. LSU with 5 of the top 7 or even 6 of the top 8. Incredibly loaded with the depth, and that's when we really start to find out. Now, look, Missouri is not one of the better teams, and so you got to take care of business and make sure that you get 3 at home this weekend because, as we know, on the road. But, JP, your early impressions of this baseball team. Look, they did have the one loss to Omaha, almost came back and won that game. But I think that it's fair to say that expectations are for this team to get to Omaha. But, man, some big series, and can't wait till the end of April when Tennessee comes in. Tennessee's balling right now, JP.
Yep. Early impressions, Bud, man, this is a very complete team. I mean, you look through the lineup, you got Curiel, you have Stanfield, who's been a very good addition in center field. Also, a delight in that 9-hole. It's a treat when your 9-hole can get on base, and he has wheels like Stanfield does. Playing defense like a dynamo. Jake Brown obviously doing his thing. Then you go across the infield and Jones, Dickerson, Milam. And that third base spot, I think Tanner Reeves will push Braswell for that spot, especially if Reeves gets more at-bats. I believe that long ball will start to get more into his game. I think Hernandez will take Aaron Beatty from behind the plate, and Hernandez will get most games to catch. Just more complete, in my opinion. They're both kind of even defensively, but I think Hernandez swings a pretty good bat. No weak spots, bud, man. You have a two-deep team mixed with people that have a lot of SEC at-bats mixed with some really good freshmen. And you start with that pitching staff. The starting pitchers are phenomenal. We didn't know who would be the weekend guys, but, you mentioned Shores, Anderson, and Ianson. And Ianson has been so good, bud, man. Him and Kate Anderson both, they can both throw 4 pitches for strikes, which in college, that is a very big deal. You see pro guys do it all the time, but if you can locate 4 pitches, you make it tough, very tough to hit for these hitters, messing up their timing, messing up their confidence. There was some pressure on Ianson in the last couple starts early in the game, but settled down in a great way. You saw Jay Johnson make a mound visit, just tell him to restart the game, get back to himself. Struck out 7 in a row to have 15 on the game in 7 innings. Did an outstanding job in that bullpen. You can just pick who you want to throw out there. Whether it's Case and Evans throwing 98.5. The guy had the 3rd hardest velocity in opening week. He's phenomenal, and yeah, you go to you name it. They have a plethora of closers, and this is really a complete team defensively. I like Milam at shortstop. Didn't know how he would feel the position, but he's looked outstanding. In my opinion, Budman, a very complete team. Great offense. You can hit the long ball. You can hit for average. Curiel getting on base half the time. Really setting up those RBI guys. Josh Pearson, oh my goodness. You can have him in the DH spot. A little guy, but lots of power coming through, and they've all started off pretty good, but man, you haven't had one guy that's like waiting to come around. Hitting is contagious, and right now, LSU certainly has the bug.
Buddy Sanji with Jonathan Poche back in the house. Echo those sentiments. A shout out to Alan Traylor and his return to health. Bert Carson, our other owner. As always, folks, you can check us out, Pelican Sports Radio and TV. JP, let's kind of go through this lineup. And, I'm superstitious. When Paxton Kling came in here, I mentioned that, hey, man, I heard you got some comparisons to Dylan Cruz. And he looked at me like, are you kidding me, old man? Are you trying to put that kind of pressure on me? Well, I hadn't talked to Derek Curiel, but he's got the same initials. And, JP, it's hard not to make comparisons with Derek Curiel and Dylan Cruz. I don't think he will hit the number of home runs that Cruz hit.
Right.
But he comes in here as a polished freshman. He's played a bunch of left field. Chris Stanfield in center field, running down everything and making great defensive plays to protect the pitchers. Of course, right field, you've got a variety of depth out there, including Drake Bound, as you alluded to. Third base, JP, I think this has been interesting. Michael Braswell started slow last year. He ended up hitting over 300 in the SEC. But Tanner Reeves, a new player coming in here, getting plenty of bats, big stick. Stephen Milam at shortstop's been fantastic. Daniel Dickerson has just been solid from the get-go at second base. Bear Jones at first base. Of course, as you mentioned, Kate Arumbeedi. Arumbeedi's got to do a better job of blocking balls and defensive catcher. And Luis Hernandez, and so that's kind of position player. But there's a lot of depth, and you're getting a lot of guys opportunities, and so it's kind of fun to see LSU having a little bit more depth, whether there's an injury or guys slumping. Ashton Larson right now not swinging it well. So it looks like from a position player standpoint, JP, I think Jay Johnson's got more depth than he's had the last couple of years.
No, I completely agree. And it starts with the infield, right up the middle. You go, shortstop, second base. Dickerson and Milam have been outstanding, and Stanfield in center field. And that's really the core of the defense. Obviously, the catcher controls the game. And you mentioned the pass balls were ridiculous for Aaron Beatty a couple starts ago. But kind of shored some of that up, and I don't know if he was getting crossed up or the ball was just flying out the hands. Some lack of control from the pitchers. LSU's running the base as well. A truly complete team, but I don't know how else to put it. Ianson hitting his best start as an LSU pitcher right before the Missouri series is a good sign. Anderson's been lights out so far this season. And then Chase Shores, you mentioned, still working back from injury, so it's still been kind of a pitch count. But lots of help out that bullpen. But, man, you really don't have a glaring weakness in this LSU team. hit for average. They get on base a lot. They get the bases loaded a lot. And those big power guys have certainly done the job in hitting the ball at the park. You saw Jared Jones hit a ball about 46-degree launch angle and somehow made it out of right field this past weekend on Sunday. So, they had the power to hit it out, especially when the wind's blowing out at the box. And, yeah, it starts with up the middle, and that pitcher spot obviously has a big part of the defense. And Coach Nate Yeskie obviously done a good job, controlling these arms early, getting guys on pitch counts, trying to figure out, what this rotation is going to be in the back end, out the bullpen. But, the embarrassment of riches. There's so much talent. All these guys throwing 94, 95, 96. It's kind of easy to pick and choose which stud you want to roll out there and get a couple outs.
Of course, don't forget our great sponsor, Man Defined Meats. We officials smoked sausage of LSU Athletics. You can pick up those Manda products out at the box or Tiger Park. Look, we don't want to not give Beth Karina and the Lady Tigers her props, but they have been fantastic. So everybody feeling good with the start of baseball and start of softball. Back to that pitching, Kason Evans, to me, JP, is the guy right now that I give the ball to close it.
Yep.
And, it's interesting. I know everybody's waiting for Gavin Guidry to come back, but guess what, folks? He's not going to just be able to come back there and go an inning or two.
Right.
He's going to have to build up his stamina as well. Zach Cowan's another guy that's been fantastic. Lefty Williams has done some good things.
Yep, Newt.
Maverick Rizzi, one of the biggest pitchers in history. So you got a lot of guys that are getting opportunities. And the great thing about it is that with Nate Yeskie and Jay Johnson, they've been doing good jobs. And when a guy walks a couple batters or doesn't have his control, they bring in another guy. But interesting to see what role Gavin Guidry will play. Right now it's been non-existent. Yep. Probably see him maybe an inning tonight or maybe an inning this weekend. But when you get him back, now you really have some depth with that pitching staff.
Yeah, and they kind of asked K.J. Johnson after that Game 2 against North Alabama when he did make that visit to Ianson. Really asked K.J. Johnson, who takes the visits? How do y'all decide who's going to visit? You were Coach Nate Yeskie, and Coach J. Johnson kind of said, well, if it's a game management decision, whether it's to slow down the game or reset a mindset, he'll take it. He'll take the visit. Coach Jay Johnson loves his timeouts. He's a guy that said if he was a basketball coach, he wouldn't take a timeout home with him. He'd use them all in the game, and I totally believe that. And I think Coach Nate Yeskie done a really good job, managing the pitches, not only the pitch count, but their stuff. I mean, working primarily with the fastball, but depending on who's up at the mound, good secondary pitches, knowing when to call them, knowing when to change location, and obviously he's got a good experience, bringing to LSU. He did a good job last year, and uber talented. Obviously, LSU ranked 1 or 2 in the polls, depending on where you do your shopping. Certainly, I believe they deserve it. And you mentioned the SEC, so loaded with talent. This might be Tony Vitalo's most complete team as well out in Tennessee. And he's had some fantastic Tennessee teams as a volunteer. So, going to get into the meat of it real quick, Bud, man. And we'll find out exactly what LSU is made of. But great pitching always travels, and that's what LSU has going for them. Great starting pitching. We mentioned the rotation out the bullpen. So pitching is always going to travel. They've been playing good defense, pretty sure-handed in the infield and the outfield. And that offense, if you can just score a couple runs, you expect LSU to be in almost every ball game.
Also, let's not forget the Catholic High phenom, William Schmidt, who is 2-0. We expect him to get the start tonight against Xavier.
That boy
he
bad.
has been fantastic as a true freshman. And as we alluded to, Kason Evans coming in here, throwing a bunch of strikes and gas. LSU with 200 strikeouts, 62 walks, and their team ERA 3.02. Tigers hitting 333, 25 home runs. So far, they have given up 6. JP, let's roll the highlights, and we give you the highlights from Game 3 against North Alabama. And here it is.
Yeah.
One thing about it, JP, when Bear hits it in the middle part of the bat, it's gone. But here's an opposite field shot to start it out on Sunday.
That ball was hit remarkably high. Obviously, the commentators hit the nail on the head that Bear Jones just muscled that ball out of there. Mistake on 1-2. He didn't think he was going to see that pitch, but did enough to get the barrel on it. And, somehow muscled that ball. Went about 200 feet up in the air and 307 over the fence.
That was a real coup to get Bear to come back for his year. He was old enough to go into the draft. And here we go now, once again, talking about a little defense and great opportunities to show this depth with LSU baseball and that pitching staff. But look, other than Chandler Darcy, I thought LSU was in control of this ball game on Sunday.
Yep, I completely agree. Of course, you see a bomb right here from Josh Peterson. This ball, he got every stitch of this ball that landed on the building right there in the background. Josh Pearson starting off in a great spot right here to start this season. Played a lot of baseball. Of course, we've seen him have a couple slow starts in the past and really get hot around that SEC time. So good to see Pearson exploding on that ball. And Budman, does Josh Pearson have a brother on the team?
Not only does he have a brother, his name is John Pearson, and he is a big, strong guy. By the way, Josh Pearson's first Grand Slam in his LSU career. And LSU, once again, JP started a little slow with the home run. I always tell people when the weather starts to heat up, when the ball starts to carry a little bit more, I still think they hit 114 last year, but I still think they're going to be in the 100 range. There you see Stanfield always making a big play out in the outfield. Look, you and I are talking in glowing terms, but really you haven't seen that many weaknesses so far.
Right, and you mentioned the long ball hitters from last year. Of course, you knew what you were going to get from Travinsky and White, but this year, I mean, the 1 through 9 has a chance to put it out. I mean, you saw Derek Curiel hit a line drive that got over in the gap. He's a leadoff man. Then you go Jones and Dickerson and Pearson and Milam. We've all seen flashes of power from really every spot in that lineup, Bud, man. There you are. Here I am. And no weaknesses. All these guys can hit for average and power. So excited for Coach Jay Johnson. Of course, he's just bubbly right now. He loves baseball. He loves how his team's playing. He's really into the minute details of baseball, really taking control of every aspect of the game, whether it be the mindset of the team, the tempo the pitchers are working with. He really has his finger on the pulse right now and showing why LSU made a big investment now in year 4, looking to get back to Omaha and make some noise.
Let's take a quick time out, pay some bills, and we'll come back with more on a Tuesday edition of Buddy Sports Talk later. Today we'll do radio on Pelican Sports Radio at 1 to 3, taping Tigers Roar, of course, Tuesday, March 11th, right here in the capital city of Baton Rouge. We'll come back with more player interviews and also give you a little football talk at the end of the show. Thanks for joining in and watching Tigers Roar. Back right after this on a gorgeous Tuesday afternoon right here in the capital city on Pelican Sports TV.
Anchored by the performance and reliability of the Civic and Accord, Honda has once again been named the best car brand for the 4th year running by U.S. News & World Report. Come see the lineup of award-winning Hondas at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
And we welcome you back on a gorgeous Tuesday afternoon. I hope we're done with all the freezing, but we do have some rain expected coming in for Saturday, so monitor that on all your social media sites. They may tweak the start time on the Saturday game with Missouri. JP, let's get right into it. A fantastic pitcher they brought in from the portal, Anthony Iacin and Jared Jones. Here's their opportunity to talk with the media, let you hear what they've got to say after 16, 17 games. And here's Iacin and Jared Jones, the Bear, talking to LSU media.
It's not really easy to do what you did today.
Yeah, just want to be sharper out of the gate. This outing, I put a pretty big emphasis mentally on, executing in the first inning. I feel like I'm pretty good at fighting back because I had to do it a lot last year. So I definitely don't want to get in the habit of, allowing runs in the first inning. I have so much faith in, the offense that we produce, but, when you give them that setback a little bit, it makes the game harder. And, just want to be sharper out of the gate.
In terms of your tempo, it looked like a couple of times you wanted to get the ball, get right back on that. Is that typically how you would like the outing to go, just, control the tempo, kind of go a little bit quicker?
Yeah, for sure. Just want to be rolling. When I'm rolling and throwing strikes, everything's good, so I like that tempo.
What did Jay tell you when you came out for the visit?
Just to sum it up, he just said, "Be yourself." You're a competitor. That we chose you for a reason, and kind of stuck with me a little bit.
And what were you doing that you needed to fix early? Like, were you just overly excited, or what was it?
Just settled down, just executed. Made better pitches when it mattered.
So you mentioned being purposeful, wanting to get out to a strong start. Did you change up your routine at all for the game, or not really?
No. I'm pretty, I would say, strict on my routine. Had the same routine since last year. Just wanted to really slow it down and go one pitch at a time. I feel like just want to win with location more, and started to do that in the second, fourth innings.
How important is it for you to sort of land that slider? And when I say land, I mean have it start at the hip and then just have it drop off the table like that, where they just kept on swinging at those low pitches time and time again.
Yeah, really important. Obviously, just want to execute with that pitch. Keep it down, press my eyes down when I throw it. And yeah.
Have you struck out 15 before?
Never. I'm not sure, but my highest double digits, I want to say like 11 or 12, maybe in high school. So milestone for sure.
Were you ever aware of what you were doing out there? Or is it merely just locked in, get the dugout, routine, and come back out?
I'm usually just locked in. I don't really look at the stats during the game at all. Just worried about the next pitch.
Talk about your relationship with Luis. Called a pretty good game as well. And what's that bond been like? I've caught you a couple of times already now. What's that bond like with him? I guess just in general, him catching.
Yeah, he just has so much experience. He's very good behind the plate, very solid. Keeps things in front. Just does his best back there. That's all you can ask for. And he's really good, just super experienced.
Your final, I guess, starting outing before SEC play, kind of where do you feel like you're at? And honestly, the excitement level. You guys got some games for you personally, just to get back out there next week against Missouri.
Yeah, I feel like I'm making really good progress. Just working with Coach Eske, Coach Johnson, everybody. Like I said, just want to be sharper earlier in the game. It's my main focus.
He did a great job just changing speeds, obviously, to righties with the fastball changeup and then to lefties, fastball, curveball. It was hard to kind of wait back on that a little bit, and he did a good job locating. I know I think it was my third at bat. He did a good job locating 2 fastballs in on me for 2 strikes. So, kudos to him for doing that and for keeping us in check for a lot of innings there.
Jay also said he probably got a little bit greedy on the pitch they threw to you for the home run. Can you just kind of talk about your approach and where you feel like you kind of shrunk the zone over the past year now, and obviously heading into the SEC play?
Yeah, I think just having more college at bats up under my belt, obviously helps a lot, and then guys protecting me in the lineup like Derek and Danny who are around me, so I'm getting pitched to a little bit more, and just not trying to do too much, just stay within myself and put a good swing on a good pitch.
How much easier is life for you at the plate when Derek's getting on every single time? Pretty much?
Yeah, it's great. It's a RBI machine, with me and Dickinson right there, and so obviously with Curiel getting on base over 50% of the time, it's great, and he's done a great job taking quality at bats day in and day out.
And then on that ball in the first inning that hit off the top of the wall, did you think that was gone?
I had no idea. It was kind of a weird play. I didn't hear any bang or anything, so obviously it probably hit the padding on the fence, and then obviously the camera showed that. So, but happy with the double.
What's it like playing defense for a guy like Anthony when he just 7 in a row at 1 point, obviously ended with 15 strikeouts?
Yeah, it was pretty boring out there today. Didn't really have a whole lot to do. I think they put 7 or 8 balls in play in total in 9 innings, so it was a great day for our pitching staff.
What about his ability just to battle? He got a little trouble in the first and, really barely allowed a base running the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think, he just settles into the game nicely. He's done that for a couple starts now. Obviously, he's going to work on starting off better, but he's done a great job, and, he's obviously gone out there and given us a chance to win every game he's pitched in, and, our hitters have done a great job picking him up. And I think going into SEC play, that was probably his best start of the year, obviously, and so look for him to keep rolling.
And, of course, as we know, Jared Jones continuing to move up on the home run list, career home run. Expect the Bear to hit a couple of bombs. Anthony Iacin, JP, here it is. You always hear that coaches like Jay Johnson want to kind of have their roles established for their position players as well as the pitchers. But you don't have the X factor with Guidry. But that being said, I don't remember when they were on paper looking as they look as good as they look right now, getting ready to start SEC play this weekend, JP.
Yeah, but, man, I agree. No weaknesses in the lineup, and defense has been solid. You mentioned Anthony Iacin, and he wants to get off to better starts, and that's understandable. You don't want to give up runs in the first inning because then you're playing catch-up. But this offense, you got to feel okay just giving up 2 runs. Defense is still settling into the game. Umpires settling into the game. Pitcher on the mound is trying to find what stuff is working today, what he has more control on. So the early starts, I don't really the early rough starts for Iacin, I don't mind at all. He's proven he's going to settle into the game, get a bunch of strikeouts. He's going to eat some innings up for you with 4 different pitches, as we mentioned earlier, all thrown for strikes. And he's just one of many guys on the mound that's going to help LSU win ball games. And the offense is going to travel. They take good at-bats, starting with Jared Jones. He always had the power, Bud, man. You called him Bear for a reason, the guy's nickname, because he's huge. The guy has huge forearms. His lower half is built, and he hits the ball well. But this year, you've seen him absolutely dialed in at the plate, swinging at good pitches, taking the bad ones, really owning control of that strike zone. A professional hitter is what Jared Jones turned into, and LSU is certainly lucky they came back for another season here at the Purple and Gold.
All right, we've got to make up a quick break. JP and I, mostly me, a little long-winded on this Tuesday. We miss you, folks. We hope you're doing well. And as always, enjoying the weather. Going to be a great week. As we said, could be some rain coming in for the weekend. We'll talk a little women's hoops and talk about Michaela Williams and Kim Mulkey when we come back on a Tuesday edition of Buddy Sports Talk. I keep saying that, but on Pelican Sports TV. We'll do radio in an hour or so. So, as always, hope everybody's doing well. Coming back to talk some women's hoops. They got beat by Texas in the semifinals, but still looking to be a number 3 national seed and host a couple games in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center in the coming days and weeks. Back with those ladies right after this on Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need, Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
From the sportiness of the Mazda MX-5 to the engaging ride of the Mazda CX-5 to the luxury of the Mazda CX-90. Move and be moved in your new Mazda while saving thousands at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we welcome you back. Don't forget about our friends over at Greystone Golf and Country Club, 667-6744, extension 1 for tee times. They are great sponsors here on Pelican Sports Radio and TV. Let's get right into it, JP. Lady Tigers had a double bye. They played probably their best half of the year, posting 53 points against Florida. Were phenomenal, got over the 100-point mark, and then let's first of all give our condolences. Kim Mulkey lost a very, very close friend, so she was not available to work the team in practice last week. Bob Starkey, the veteran, the icon, should be in the Women's Hall of Fame, and hopefully one day that will happen. But he took over the reins and actually was acting head coach. Kim Mulkey got there and was on the bench. But and then the second night, didn't score 50 against Texas, which played appreciably better defense. But, JP, give me your quick assessment of LSU going into postseason play.
Well, not having Flau'jae certainly hurt the Florida game. I mean, an outstanding first half led by Anissa Morrow, who's had a phenomenal career here at LSU. 36 points and 14 rebounds. Also had, I believe, 2 assists and 3 steals as a leading scorer for the Tigers. 101 points, the most LSU has scored as a program in the SEC tournament. So congratulations to Kim Mulkey. That was they shot the ball better, Bud, man, than I've seen him shoot in a really long time, especially from 3. Miracle Shepard had a good game, but Anissa Morrow really was the straw that stirred the drink. McKay Williams is also in double figures, but move on to that Texas game. According to McKay Williams, you'll hear from her in a second, it wasn't really what Texas did, is what LSU failed to do, but you're down a Morrow and a Flau'jae, and then Michaela Williams is in trouble. She has to sit the bench for a lot of the second half, so it was a tough spot. Obviously, Texas, one of the best teams in the country. They played great defense, but both teams had trouble scoring. I think Texas only had 56 points, so it was a game in the mid-50s after a game that got into 100 plus. So it's a tale of two halves almost. LSU didn't execute offensively. You got to give credit to Texas. They were the better team that game. Very physical at the point of attack. They were all over the ball handlers. They were tough in the rebounds, and they protected the basket. It wasn't easy for LSU to get any points in the paint. But, of course, I mean, you lose Anissa Morrow, you're going to lose a lot of your points in the paint. But Coach Kim Mulkey says everybody's going to be back for the tournament, Bud, man, and that's the one that really counts. So looking forward to see what happens on Sunday.
Inquiring minds want to know how far they're going to go in the NCAA dance. Look, still having some inconsistency at point guard, still struggling to make free throws, and still having trouble defending down low with the bigs. But as we know, Kim Mulkey and the Lady Tigers have a great knack of flipping the switch. Flau'jae will be back. Anissa is going to be back. And, of course, Michaela Williams. We'll give you a little taste of Michaela Williams and Kim Mulkey after the Florida loss this past weekend in South Carolina.
No Flau'jae. Morrow goes down. Y'all are the big three, and you're in foul trouble. Kind of, why do you think you guys struggled so much offensively, especially in that third quarter, starting the fourth?
Well, if you think about the third quarter, I think our bench did a really good job. We got it into within 4. I think for me, I just have to be more disciplined, knowing that my team needs me, knowing that we don't have Nisa and Flau'jae. I'm taking this one to the chin because I feel like I could have given more to my team and been more smart and been better of a leader. So,
Michaela, right here, what is it about Texas's defense that makes them so tough to go up against?
I don't think it's as much as the defense. Obviously, they're disciplined and play tough. It is the SEC, but I think it's really just us not getting in our offense, not being disciplined, not going to what we had planned to do. I think that's everything was really on us. I think we beat ourselves tonight more than Texas beating us.
offensively you guys struggled. Like I asked Michaela, no Flage, Murrow goes down. A lot is on Michaela, especially with foul trouble. Offensively, just couldn't really get a rhythm going.
Well, did Texas struggle? They only scored 56 points with all their weapons. So I thought it was a game of defense. I thought both teams are defensive-minded, just a lot of aggressive play, just everything was hard. In the third quarter, both teams, I think, scored 11 points. I'm not positive, but I think in the third quarter, they only shot 20%. So where's Reed? Where's my boy Reed? So that ragtag group that you like to call ragtags, they competed with the number one team in the country today without Morrow and without Flage and Michaela sitting a lot. Okay? And I'll take that any day because when you get those three back healthy, that's the number one team in the country, right? We competed today.
In front. Coach, kind of going off of that question, do you feel like y'all had good looks tonight? And if so, how did their defense kind of impact those good looks and the shots just not falling?
Free throw shooting, how many did we miss? 8, something like that, I think. At this level, you got to make your free throws. I thought we didn't finish good on layups. I thought we, just had open, bam, and you got to get it off. You got to score it. And toughness rebounding. Size-wise, they have the big bulk in there, the older, experienced player. You just got to get tough. You got to bow your neck, as we say in the country, and you got to do what you got to do in there. Yeah.
Reed? Coach, do you have an update on Anissa? How's she doing?
Yeah, I just talked to the doctor. Was it maybe the last Texas game? She got stepped on and they put her in a boot because it was bruised. She re-aggravated. This is the medical term I got. She just re-aggravated a mid-foot sprain. She was wearing a boot last week. She'll wear a boot now, but, she's good to go. It's my understanding, I'm not surprised. She's fighting them to get back in the game, and, and they're like, oh, no. We got bigger fish to fry. No. But that's Nice.
Over here on the right. Coach, I was going to ask you the same question, but you have an idea if she'll be ready for the tournament?
She can go.
She can go for the tournament?
She can go for the tournament. She was ready to come back out there, and the doctors, no, why would you go out there? Win or lose, we got playoffs hosting, but no. And Flage will be back. Everything's good. I know the NCAA sits there and, they don't have we have everybody.
Here in the front.
Coach Mulkey, leaving this tournament, you have said outright you're not a big fan of conference tournaments, leaving with Nice and a boot. Now kind of, how do you tread that water of getting ready for March Madness?
Jess, I've won a bunch of conference tournaments. Everybody loves to win. Everybody loves to get a trophy. But at the end of the day, I've also been in those tournaments where I've had injuries, and those kids couldn't go on and play in the most important tournament, the NCAA tournament. I don't know why we play them, to be honest. I know sometimes you have a Cinderella on the men's side, but very rarely do you see a Cinderella on the women's side at a Power 5 level. But you got to play. But I've never been a fan of conference tournaments. And then, to me, it's too long. If you have conference tournaments, do we really need all 16 teams in the conference tournament? I don't know, but Chester, they don't care what we think, right? Administrators make all the decisions. We just give an opinion, and they either like it or they don't.
Any more questions for Coach Mulkey, or Coach right here, Chessa?
Madison Booker had a big first half, the second half adjustments. What did y'all do to kind of slow her down?
I don't know that we made any adjustments other than we went to the 2-3. I thought the zone was very effective. I thought it kept us close and in the game. So maybe it was that. maybe it was she got less looks against the zone, but that's the most zone I played, I think, since I've been at LSU. But it was very good for what personnel we had available to play today.
One more from Chessa.
Also, what did you see from Jada, the spark off the bench for you guys?
Excuse me. Jada's a competitor. It hurts her when we lose. And she was productive. The minutes that she got, she was productive. And wouldn't surprise me as we go forward that she might not see the floor more because she cares. She cares. Winning matters to her.
There you go. Once again, a big watch party Sunday out at the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. LSU. Charlie Cream is the female version of Joe Lunardi. He's the guy with all the brackets and all the stats. LSU right now probably going to be a 3 national seed. They will host 2 games in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center. If they win those 2 games, everybody expecting them to go out west to Spokane, Washington. And one other tidbit, JP, got to mention Jake Clark and the Lady Tiger gymnastics team. They are the defending champs. 198.575 record score this year. Aaliyah Finnegan with the first 10 for the ladies on the beam. They will be at Auburn and then start 2 or 3 weeks of the SEC championship and then postseason play. Look for them to return once again to Fort Worth with the Final Four. They've actually got a great chance. I think they're better than Oklahoma if they can stay healthy and nail their landings and stay on the beam. Jay Clark doing a fantastic job trying to repeat as national champions. Back on Tigers Roar TV right here as we're on Pelican Sports TV on a Tuesday afternoon. Give you a little LSU and Saints football stuff and scoop when we return on this gorgeous afternoon right here on Pelican Sports Radio with Tigers Roar.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Anchored by the performance and reliability of the Civic and Accord, Honda has once again been named the best car brand for the 4th year running by U.S. News and World Report. Come see the lineup of award-winning Hondas at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
And we come back here on Tigers Roar. We talk a little LSU football. Year 4 for Brian Kelly. I don't think any of you Tiger fans out there viewing and watching and listening to all of the shows, you realize the importance of this spring. JP, let's get right into it. Mike and I have been doing a lot of shows already. We'll have our first availability tomorrow morning. We'll have our first opportunity to talk with Brian Kelly. And JP, just looking at some depth charts that we put together, 7 or 8 of those guys coming in from the transfer portal, the 16, are probably going to be bona fide starters. But let's get right into it. What are the areas that you're going to be looking for in this spring football, which started on the weekend Saturday, also had practice number 2 today. We didn't have availability, but tomorrow out there for the first time. What are you looking to see, even though spring and so many colleges now, JP, are actually canceling the spring game?
Right.
I'm sure that question will be posed with Brian Kelly tomorrow.
Well, Bud, man, for me, it's right up front with the big uglies. College football games are one of the trenches. Obviously, LSU has a lot of turnover on their offensive line, but good for LSU that they have a lot of guys that have meaningful SEC snaps under their belt already, ready to step into the roles, or the holes, I should say, that have been left for these guys going to the pros. Obviously, you lose both bookends on the tackle spots, so got to keep Nussmeier upright and protected. He is going to be the engine that drives the car. Of course, you have a very talented wide receiver core. You bring a lot of transfers in that are going to help you out with a deep threat, big body guy in Nick Anderson. So there'll be no shortage of weapons, but got to give Nussmeier some time, starting with that offensive line. But, man, I want to see him gelling early and keeping Nussmeier upright.
Braylon Moore is coming over from Virginia Tech. He'll wear number 61, expected to be the starting center. DJ Chester, who was the center last year, going to move to one of the guard spots. Tyree Evans probably at left tackle. Weston Davis probably at right tackle. A bunch of battles inside. Cohen Eccles, the backup at center. JP, you saw Harlan Berry. Of course, we know that Caden Durham is coming back for his sophomore year. I think number 29, Caden Durham, blows up this year.
Yep.
Sad that Miles Frazier fell on his toes last year and kind of stymied his growth.
Yep.
Caleb Jackson's still back, and you know you got to get him in space. But J.T. Lindsey and, of course, Harlan Berry. Jawan Johnson, by the way, moved to quarterback for the spring. Colin Hurley probably not going to be out there. And then a bevy of receivers coming in, including one from Kentucky and one from A&M that are big-time receivers. Oh, yeah, Xavier Thomas, Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton, Kyle Parker, all those guys back. So I agree 100% with you, JP. The O-line was disappointing last year. Now what can Brad Davis put together? You got to keep Nussmeier healthy and standing up vertical, and then you got to open up the lanes for the run game.
Yep. Yeah, and but, man, on the defensive side of the ball, got to see improved safety play from LSU this season. I believe the last couple of years has been some of the worst safety play we've seen LSU in the last 30 years. Have talent. I mean, you talk about Spears. That kid is a thumper. He's young. He's ready to get out there and show what he could do. Have to be improved in the secondary, though. Blake Baker did a great job of kind of solidifying some of that communication, so we didn't see the busted, wide-open receivers. But the 50-50 balls, just the talent, in my opinion, it wasn't up to snuff for LSU on top of all the penalties that we were giving up. So, got to get improved at the safety position specifically, but all around. In that secondary room, you're losing some guys. And it might be a good thing for LSU to get some fresh blood, some new faces, getting some playing time for the purple and gold. But that remains to be seen. Obviously, pass rush is going to be at a premium for LSU. Help out that new secondary with all those new turnover players. So we'll see how it turns out. But I'm specifically watching that safety spot.
Kyle Williams, the apparent new D-line coach, Bo Davis, going over to the Saints, and that will be a work in progress to see the big uglies. Kevin Peoples will continue to work on the edge rushers. JP, they've got 3 coming in from the portal, Pyburn and the kid from Nebraska, and, of course, Peyton from Florida State. So you know they're going to put pressure.
Yep.
Linebackers galore, all of them that can run. Can't wait to see Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks. Now, they're not going to be 100% for spring, but they will do great jobs at linebackers. Wes Weeks is a fifth-year guy. He will be out there. And also Whit Weeks' younger brother, Zach Weeks, probably going to redshirt or not play much this year, but the trio of Weeks brothers all playing linebackers. And in the secondary, Mansour Delane has taken over, and looks like with his experience, another kid from Virginia Tech, be one corner. Ashton Stamps right now, but you know DJ Pickett's going to play. But once again, defensively, got to get some pass rush, and you got to get some safeties coming in here. As we'll start to give you some names and numbers about safeties, but you got to be able to support the run at the safety spot.
Yep.
Got to be able to protect the deep ball over the top. And so JP roster is a lot of question marks, but I think with this 16 transfer portal player haul, I think they're going to be appreciably more talented and more deep, especially on defense.
Yeah, Bud, man, it was very aggressive. Spent a lot of money in the transfer portal, and of course, you know, for LSU fans, that just means that expectations are that much higher come week 1 here in year 4 for Brian Kelly.
And, of course, Kellen Moore, the new coach, went ahead and got Coach Joseph from Texas as the DB coach, and he's been fantastic. Bo Davis. JP, I know the biggest problem that you still have getting excited with the Saints is that because of Derek Carr's contract, they're really hamstrung. And, you know, Mickey Dead Money Loomis has once again put them in a predicament. Can you imagine you take the gig, you're a new head coach, you're 30-something years old, and the GM says, oh, by the way, we can't do anything with Carr. He's going to be your quarterback. And so already lost to Debo and some other defensive players. Did get Devon Garchaw coming in from New England, former Tiger. But Kellen Moore, his first year, you give him a chance, or do you think Carr has hamstrung this whole franchise again?
Well, it's tough to say, Bud, man. It really is going to be all of the play of Derek Carr, of course, quarterback-driven league, right, NFL. But I've loved the moves that Kellen Moore has made so far, bringing in experienced coaches to help him on his staff. Brandon Staley was a head coach for the Chargers for a while, and this guy has loads of defensive experience to be his defensive coordinator. Of course, you get Doug Nussmeier. Does this give the Saints kind of a backdoor, view into Garrett Nussmeier coming after the next season? That remains to be seen. But I do love the coaching hires. Kellen Moore, 36. He has a lot of a P and V, as you like to say. You have to be excited for the Saints' new season because there's finally fresh blood in the building. We're trying to get away from the Sean Payton era, from the Dennis Allen era, and now it's Kellen Moore's turn. We'll see what he can do.
Great. Doug Myers, the offensive coordinator, going to be in Louisiana. He'll be able to keep track with Garrett Nussmeier, the starting quarterback for LSU. Oh, by the way, he is on the list with Heisman Trophy candidates. Have a great afternoon. Once again, we'll be back in a couple of weeks right here with another edition of Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV. See you next week, everybody.